Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. The year is almost out. It's getting closer and closer and closer. Glad to be here with you guys again on today, on this beautiful Sunday. Still got my voice is coming back. It's not as bad as it was, but I still got this cold and this sinus in my nose and stuff. So I got a funny work week this week. I got to work tonight. I'm off, 3 days, and I had to work Thursday night, which is my Friday night. I chose to pick those days up because it's overtime, in those weeks right there. So I do want a couple of hours overtime on my check for next week. So that's why I'll pull some of these days um, that I'm on vacation. I'm gonna work a couple of hours just to get paid. So the holiday is coming, and a few more things I'm trying to get to enjoy my time off. I got the following week, whole week off though, so I don't mind at all. Picking up extra time, this hours. So, guys, come on in. I got one person that's watching me right now. I don't. I thought I checked to see was anybody live, but thought I did. I don't think I see nobody live who I go watch all the time. So, so come on in. You guys just come on in so we can just talk about this young lady. She's 30 years old now, and also what to do when the economy in the stock market crash. You know, stuff is all out there. So come on in and show me some love and come and talk to me. I had added three new people in my night box. It should be dropping down sometime during live. This is they'll be in my night box for 2 weeks. So when you see their names up in there, please go show them some love. There are some good women, all women. Um, One is Pretty Apple. Is one of them. Her channel is hilarious. I'm telling you, you never know what you're gonna see on her channel. You never know if it's a prank or not. She is funny. I love her channel. She keeps me lifted up. So when you see her name drop in Nightbox, make sure you hit her link and go check her out. Pretty Apple. Also, I added Mama Not Having It, and this one as well. She's another awesome queen that she do all natural things. She make her own toothpaste, her own soap, her own insect bite, whatever it is. Um, it's all natural. You know what I'm saying? She did something new on yesterday, or maybe 2 days ago, that she did something new that you can take with garlic, which garlic is good. Garlic is good because my sister's been taking garlic for years, and it helps her. See, if I would have been taking it for years, I wouldn't be having what I got right now because it keeps you with it just keeps your body's cleansed. You know what I'm saying? Keep colds from you and everything. So what she showing with her, how she making with her garlic, her own natural way is good. So go check out her page. Also, the last one I added was Teen Terrell. Teen Terrell, she's a sweet person. She loves to sing, and she probably play all kind of instruments, but I do see her playing the guitar a lot as well. She's a good person. She is Positive Movement um, younger sister. I don't know who's oldest, but I know it's her sister, and she's a sweetheart. So you guys go like her channel and check her out. She got all kind of videos she made. And she make her own songs. She wrote a song to her dad. I heard her sing, wrote a song to her mom. There's two people who she loves and stuff. So she's a really, really good person. So make sure you guys go show her some love. So I got all three of those queens gonna drop in my night box. They've been there for 2 weeks. And another 2 weeks I will go pick out, three other YouTubers and stuff for you guys to go show love to. This is my way of saying my way of saying thank you for showing me love and being there. being there with me during those times and stuff like that. So, hey, positive movement. Hey, thanks for being here. I love you, sis. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. Yeah. So, everyone has come on in, and so they be dropping down in the night box pretty soon. My night box drops, in that part is the timer that will like drops every 10 to 15 minutes into my Dropbox. But every time I go live, those three queens will always be in my chat for these 2 weeks. Okay, so make sure whatever you do, hit their links and go show them some love. And if I mess up, um, got somebody else like I did. I know I did before. This time I made sure I caught it, so I made sure everybody's links is correct with their name. So I took my time doing it this time, so it should be good. Hey, Mama, not having it. God bless you, Mama, not having it. I don't know if you heard me, Mama, not having it, but I did put you in the night box for these next 2 weeks. Okay, so people will be checking out your page. Mama, not having it, so you will be seeing it drop down. Okay, just let you know. So you and Pretty Apple and Team Terrell, y'all three queens for these next 3 weeks. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with the story for Cynthia Brown. She been locked up for since she was 16 years old. So she been gone for 14 years now. Okay, and she was involved in the sex trafficking. Okay, and she had killed a man that had her out there, doing sex at a young age. Okay, and his nickname at the time was called Cutthroat. So, hey, Pretty Apple. So I'm gonna go ahead and um, let you guys hear this story. Read it along with me, and I'm going to screen share it, and then I'm going to show another video of what to do when the economy collapses and the stock market crash. Okay. Hey, King Daryl. Hey. God bless you. Thank you for joining. So this is gonna be good. Pretty Apple also got you in the night box as well. So I don't know if you heard me when I was talking. So you guys should be seeing your names in the night box, okay? So hopefully everybody will show you guys love that come in here because y'all are some good people. Hey M Shante, hey, God bless you. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this screen share. I'm sorry, you guys. And I'm gonna get my phone ready also. Thanks everybody for showing me love. For showing me love. Second. Hold on 1 second, you guys. Because God is good. God is wonderful. That He is. Okay, where I'm at. There we go. Okay. I'm going to screen share her now. It's a sad story. You know what I'm saying? She was 16 years old. And she been they gave her life in prison. They trying to free her. You know what I'm saying? Because she was fighting for her life. You know what I'm saying? Like he had her out there, trafficking, and she murdered him, for her own life. Okay, here we go. Which one's right here? Here she is right here. She's a beautiful girl. Her name is Cyntoia Brown. She must serve 51 years, but she already did 14 years. So she got like 30 some more years to go before she's eligible for release in Tennessee Supreme Court. It's sad. A woman who was 16 when she killed a Nashville man who solicited her for sex must serve at least 51 years in prison before she's eligible for release, according to Tennessee Supreme Court. On Thursday, the court said defendant like Cyntoia Brown, who was convicted of first-degree murder committed after July the 1st, 1995, and sentenced to life imprisonment. She become eligible for release from prison before serving more than 5 decades. The court's 5 justices were anonymous in their decision against Brown, who was convicted of killing a 43-year-old man in 2004 when he took her to his house for sex. Brown has said she killed him after she feared he would kill her. Thursday ruling came in response to the lawsuit in which Brown argues her sentence in unconstitutional, citing in a 2012 opinion by the United States Supreme Court that she mandatory life sentences without parole for juvenile offenders violates the United States Constitution. And they tried her as an adult too, you guys, when she was 16. The Tennessee Supreme Court explained in a statement that under state law, a life sentence is determined sentence for 60 years. However, 60 years sentence can be reduced up to 15% or 9 years by earning various sentence credits. According to Tennessee's code, those credits include recognition for good behavior or participation in educational or vocational training programs. A district court previously denied Brown's motion per court documents, pointing out she hadn't been sentenced to life in prison without possible parole, just a life sentence. The case is pending judgment of the United States Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, which asked the Tennessee Supreme Court to share its opinion. The parole board split clemency. More than a decade after sentencing, Brown's case caught the attention of at least a list of celebrities like Raina and Kim Kardashian, who began advocating for mercy. Her story spread on social media using the hashtag Free Cyntoia Brown. Brown said she was forced into prostitution after a difficult childhood. At her trial, she said her victim, Johnny Mitchell Allen, solicited her for sex and drove her house to house. Wow. Brown said she was forced. Oh no, sorry. There, Brown saw a gun cabinet in Allen's room. She said during her trial, she resisted him until he appeared to reach under the bed, at which point she believed he was going to kill her. Brown took a gun out of her purse and shot Allen, killing him. Brown was tried as an adult. In a clemency hearing in May, the Tennessee Board of Parole was split into a recommendation to Governor Bill Haslam. 2 of his 6 members voted to grant clemency, to 2 to deny it, and 2 to make it eligible for parole after 25 years. Prosecutors at the hearing said Brown killed Ellen to rob him, not to defend herself. So they trying to say she trying to rob him, but she said it was self-defense. So we're gonna go hear what the audio had to say. If it's gonna play.
Cyntoia Brown. She's been in prison for more than a decade now, but Cyntoia Brown. She's been in prison for more than a decade now, but her case is catching fire on social media. Hashtag Free Cyntoia Brown after being shared on Instagram by pop superstar Rihanna. And here's the background. Brown says when she was just 16, after being forced into prostitution, a 43-year-old man took her home and tried to have sex with her. Brown says in self-defense, she shot him because she feared for her life. And despite her age, she was tried as an adult, sentenced to life in prison, and won't be eligible for parole until she's 69 years old. Well, one of the people trying to change that is with us now, her attorney, Charles Bone. Charles, thank you so much for being here with us. We appreciate it. First and foremost, I want to ask you, how is she doing, and is she aware of this new public campaign to try to help her?
Cyntoia is a remarkable young woman, and she's very aware. She's amazed by the publicity that's been generated this week.
Help us understand who she is now. I mean, she's been in prison for what, has it been about 13 years, and she's gotten a college degree? Is that right?
13 years, and she's gotten her GED and her Associate of Arts degree from Lipscomb University. And now she's very close to getting her bachelor's degree.
She, if what I read from her background is correct, suffered from fetal alcohol syndrome. She grew up in an abusive home where drugs were rampant. She ran away from adoptive parents. She was raped and forced into prostitution by a pimp, as I understand it. What was it about her and about this case that made you say, I need to try to help this woman?
Well, there's an amazing documentary that Dan Bierman did in 2010. And when we saw that documentary, a group of us with lawyers and others got together to say, we need to do our best to see if we can right this wrong.
Yeah, I understand you filed a petition for post-conviction relief after the Supreme Court banned life without parole sentences for juveniles. What are your most pressing obstacles to making a release happen for her right now?
Well, the case will be heard in the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals sometime in 2018. Also, we are in the process of asking the Board of Pardons and Paroles and the governor to consider an action that would commute her sentence and allow her to serve a much lighter sentence. Further, we hope that the legislature of Tennessee would take some action that would be of some help to her.
Okay, I want to bring Joey Jackson into the mix here because Joey, I think when a lot of people hear this story, realize that at 16 she was convicted as an adult of first-degree murder, first-degree felony murder, aggravated robbery. People aren't absolved, obviously, by public outcry, but what has to happen in the legal realm to secure her release here?
Well, first of all, good to see you, Christy. And let me compliment Charles Bone for undertaking this case. I think that needs to happen because you want to hold the system accountable. Understand it's an uphill battle, though, right? I mean, the biggest problem is you have a system that needs to balance three things, right? Punishment, deterrence, and rehabilitation. Certainly you want to punish someone, but the issue now is at 16 years old is a sentence where she's up for parole at 69. Is that the appropriate punishment? Furthermore, when you look at a 16-year-old, you have to know that something is fundamentally different about brain development. What any of us do at 21, at 25, at 45, what we would do as a 16-year-old, I think the answer to that question is no. Having said that, and having read Mr. Bone's analysis in his brief here, the question then becomes, when you look and analyze her actions, is a person dead? That person was 43 years old. There's the indication, at least from the prosecution, that he was shot and he was robbed because she took rifles and of course, his wallet or his pants away from him. So the question is now, is the punishment appropriate? And based on all errors that were made at the trial level and the appellate level, is even perhaps a new trial in her future?
Wow, that's sad. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's her word against their word. He's saying that she was in there to rob him, and she said that was her pimp. She got tired of living that type of life. So we see what the outcome is. The girl, like I said, she was only 16 years old, and it ain't said up in here, but I read some other ones named that her pimp name was Cutthroat. You know what I'm saying? So he had her since she was 16 years old. And just imagine that somebody, you're a prostitute. You got this man named called Cutthroat. So I'm assuming that he will cut your throat if you do him some type of wrong, I'm guessing. But we're just gonna keep her in prayer, you know what I'm saying, whatever God's will for her life, like she was young and she is asking for a second chance, you know what I'm saying, and whatever happened, that day, she would never forget that day. Maybe she would come out as a better person, but somebody, 60 years old, gonna spend your rest of your life, that's your whole life in prison. She gonna be in her 60s, about 67, almost 70 by the time she go out. she's not going to even know the world because a majority of her life was in prison. So I think she deserves a second chance. I really do. She had a hard life. She was raised in a terrible home. So I pray and hope they give her a second chance. I really do. I really do because I think she deserved it. She deserved it. Yeah, yes. So they got all kind of different articles on about this in different on this internet all over. Yeah, they spell it. I think they spell it like KUT. Pretty Apple. It was KUT throat. Yeah, that's what his name was that I read on another article. Yes. So Cyntoia Brown. So y'all remember that name. Y'all see her around and just pray for her. That God would show her favor. 'Cause I think she deserved to get out all because of her background. She's 16. If it was my child, I want somebody to give my child a second chance, especially at that age. Wow. Well, I'm finna move on. The next one, I'm finna move on. I'm finna move on and finna move on to the next segment that I'm finna talk about. It was what to do when the economy is going to crash, and also it's going to because we talked this a lot about this in the Power of God. He talks about the economy and stuff like that, how to survive and stuff like that. So he's already talking about that, you guys. So you guys go check out Chosen King Power of God channel. He's mentioned that all the time on his lives and stuff like that. So this came across my lap. So I'm gonna go ahead and share it with you guys as well. That came across here. So God is good. Let me see real quick. Let me see where we at. Is it this? No, not that one. That one's sad too, but I'll do that one tomorrow. That one happened like last week. Sorry y'all. This one right here I want to get to. Um, so y'all listen to this right here. This right here. Just talks about 30 things to prepare yourself for when the economy collapses or stock market crashes.
We have confidence in the robustness of the economy and its resilience to shocks. It's performed well over the last several years. We've created, since the trough in employment after the financial crisis, around 16 million jobs. The unemployment rate has moved way down, and many more people feel optimistic about their prospects. The simple message is the economy is doing well.
Today, millions of Americans say that they believe that the United States is on the verge of a major economic collapse and will soon be entering another Great Depression. But only a small percentage of those same people are prepared for that to happen. We are in a big, fat, ugly bubble.
The U.S. stock market is going to crash, or the dollar is going to crash. The global situation has created an environment for financial panic.
It's the biggest bubble I've seen in history, and now we have a bigger stock bubble by far than ever, larger real estate bubbles in many cities, and an extreme around the world.
We have the worst financial recovery in 65 years. In the last 8 years, the past administration has put on more new debt than nearly all of the other presidents combined.
there are some dire predictions that, next year, say a year, 18 months, we have something arriving worse than 2008 and 2009. The downturn is much worse.
It's not a question of will that happen? It's just a question of when.
And the worst scenario for that would be things like Zimbabwe and Venezuela.
The sad truth is that the vast majority of Americans would last little more than a month on what they have stored up in their homes. Most of us are so used to running out to the supermarket or to Walmart for whatever we need that we never even stop to consider what would happen if suddenly we were not able to do that. Already, the US economy is starting to stumble about like a drunken frat boy. When the economic collapse occurs, it will happen quickly. No one will predict it. That's because the signs of imminent collapse are difficult to see. For example, the US economy nearly collapsed on September 17, 2008. That's the day panicked investors withdrew a record $140 billion from money market accounts. That's where businesses keep the cash to fund day-to-day operations. If withdrawals had gone on for even a week, the entire economy would have halted. If the US economy collapses, you will not have access to credit. Banks will close. That means high demand and low supply of food, gas, and other necessities. If the collapse affects local governments and utilities, then water and electricity will no longer be available. As people panic, self-defense becomes more important. When that happens, things are going to get desperate for many people. And desperate people are known to do desperate things. Expect several suicides. Expect several to turn to violent crime. And that includes street gangs and those who are already employed as career criminals. With police spread thin and short-handed, street gangs and career criminals are about to have a heyday taking whatever they want from whoever they can. All it would take for the entire US to resemble New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina would be for a major war, a terror attack, a deadly pandemic, or a massive natural disaster to strike at just the right time to push the teetering US economy over the edge. So just how would you survive if you suddenly could not rely on the huge international corporate giants to feed, clothe, and supply you and your family? Do you have a plan? Unless you already live in a cave, or you are a complete and total mindless follower of the establishment media, you should be able to see very clearly that our society is more vulnerable now than it has ever been. Unprecedented number of large earthquakes around the world, and volcanoes all over the globe are awakening. You could just take a look at what happened to Haiti and in Iceland to see how devastating a natural disaster can be. Not only that, but we have a world that is full of lunatics in positions of power. And if one of them decides to set off a nuclear, chemical, or biological weapon in a major city, it could paralyze an entire region. War could erupt in the Middle East at literally any moment, and if it does, the price of oil would double or triple at least. And there is a possibility that much of the entire world could be drawn into this conflict. Scientists tell us that a massive high-altitude EMP blast could send large portions of the United States back to the Stone Age in an instant. In addition, there is a constant threat that the outbreak of a major viral pandemic, such as what happened with the 1918 Spanish flu, could kill tens of millions of people around the globe and paralyze the economies of the world. But even without all that, the truth is that the US economy is going to collapse. So just think of what will happen if one or more of those things does happen on top of all the economic problems that we are having. Are you prepared? The following is a list of 30 things that you and your family will need to survive when the economy totally collapses and the catastrophic disaster begins. 1. Keep some cash at home. This goes along with the previous point. While it is not wise to keep all of your money at home, you do want to keep some cash at hand. If there is an extended bank holiday, or if a giant burst from the sun causes the ATM machines to go down, you want to be able to have enough cash to buy things that your family need. Just as people of Cyprus how crippling a bank holiday can be. One way to keep cash secure at home is by storing it in a concealed, safe place. 2. Get out of debt. A lot of people seem to assume that the economic collapse would wipe out all debts, But that will probably not be the case. In fact, if you are in a tremendous amount of debt, you will be very vulnerable if the economy collapses and you are not able to find a job. Just ask the people who were overextended and lost their jobs during the last recession. So please, get out of debt. Many debt collectors are becoming increasingly ruthless. In many areas of the country, they are now routinely putting debtors into prison. You do not want to be a slave to debt when the next wave of economic collapse strikes. 3. Gold and silver. In the long term, the US dollar is going to lose a tremendous amount of value and inflation is going to absolutely skyrocket. That is one reason why so many people are investing very heavily in gold, silver, and other precious metals. All over the globe, the central banks of the world are recklessly printing money. Everyone knows that this is going to end very badly. In fact, there is already a push in more than a dozen US states to allow gold and silver coins to be used as legal tender. Someday, you will be glad that you invested in gold and silver now, while their prices were still low. 4. Move away from the big cities if possible. For many people, this is simply not possible. Many Americans are still completely and totally dependent on their jobs. But if you are able, now is a good time to move away from the big cities. Where the next major economic downturn strikes, there will be a rioting and dramatic rise in crime in the major cities. If you are able to move to a more rural area, you will probably be in a better shape. 5. Warm clothing and hiking gear, especially good footwear. If you plan to survive for long in a nightmare economic situation, you are probably going to need some warm, functional clothing. If you live on a cold climate, this is going to mean storing up plenty of blankets and cold weather clothes. If you live in an area where it rains a lot, you will need to be sure to store up some rain gear. If you think you may have to survive outdoors in an emergency situation, make sure that you and your family have something warm to put on your heads. Someday after the economy has collapsed and people are scrambling to survive, a lot of folks are going to end up freezing to death. In fact, the coldest areas, it is actually possible to freeze to death in your own home. Don't let that happen to you. Wool sweaters will keep you warm and alive in sub-zero weather, wet or not. Get them at thrift stores. Military are the best. 6. Hiking boots or comfortable shoes are shelter. When you ask most people to list things necessary for survival, this is not the first or the second thing that comes to mind. But having hiking boots or very comfortable and functional shoes will be absolutely critical. You may very well find yourself in a situation where you and your family must walk everywhere you want to go. So how far do you think you will get in high heels? You will want footwear that you would feel comfortable walking in for hours if necessary. You will also want footwear that will last a long time, because when the economy truly collapses, you may not be able to run out to the shoe store and get what you need at that point. 7. Survival gas mask. It's that one piece of survival gear we always associate with chaos, war, terror, and mass destruction. Events where the air we breathe is not safe, where air is toxic, where air is deadly, and the world as we know it is officially over. In my opinion, way too many survival articles on the web begin by pointing out that water is at the #1 survival need. It's not. Now, I'm not saying that clean water isn't crucial for survival. It's essential, but it's secondary. Access to clean, abundant, breathable air trumps water every single time. Why? Because while it's a well-established fact that you can only survive 3 days without water, less time in intense heat, you can only survive a few minutes without oxygen. 8. Axe, shovel, knife. Staying along the theme of staying warm, you may want to consider investing in a good axe. In the event of a major emergency, gathering firewood will be a priority. Without a good tool to cut the wood with, that will be much more difficult. An axe, or more importantly, more useful and more basically, a good knife. With a good knife, you can make shelter, get some wood, provide food, and make clothing. Other options are a good spade, shovel, such as a cold steel, special forces, Spetsnaz spade, etc. Get the sheath for whatever you buy. Who needs a Swiss Army knife? This shovel is a chef's knife, axe, grappling hook, entrenching tool, climbing aid, wire cutters, can and bottle opener, sword, shield, banding cutters, and boat paddle. 9. Self-defense equipment. Whether it is pepper spray to fend off wild animals or something more robust, millions of Americans will one day be thankful that they have something to defend themselves with. 10. Get your ammunition while you still can. Your firearms will do you not much good if you don't have ammunition for them. Already, there are widespread reports of huge ammunition shortages. The following is from a recent CNS News article. The run on ammunition has manufacturers scrambling to accommodate demand and reassure customers, as many new and seasoned gun owners stock up over fears of new firearms regulations at both the state and federal levels. Don't just assume that you will always be able to purchase large amounts of ammunition whenever you want. Get it now, while you still can. 11. A compass and maps to get your BOL by several routes, especially back roads in cross-country. In the event of a major emergency, you and your family may find yourselves having to be on the move. If you are in the wilderness area, it will be very hard to tell what direction you are heading without a compass. It is always a good idea to have at least one compass stored up. 12. A Swiss Army knife. If you have ever owned a Swiss Army knife, you probably already know how incredibly handy they can be. It can be a very valuable and versatile tool. In a true survival situation, a Swiss Army knife can literally do dozens of different things for you. Make sure that you have at least one stored up for emergencies. 13. A hiking backpack. If you cannot carry your shelter, tent, water filter, matches, knife, clothing, etc., you cannot travel with them and provide shelter. If you and your family suddenly have to bug out, what will you carry all of your survival supplies in? Have a good hiking backpack or survival bag for everyone in your family is extremely important. If something happened in the city where you live and you suddenly have to go, what would you put your most important stuff in? How would you carry it all if you had to travel by foot? These are very important things to think about. 14. Shelter. You can't sleep on the streets, can you? Well, some people will be able to get by living on the streets, but the vast majority of us will need some form of shelter to survive for long. So what would you do if you and your family lost your home or suddenly were forced from your home? Where would you go? The best thing to do is come up with several plans. Do you have relatives that you can bunk in with in case of an emergency? Do you own a tent and sleeping bags if you had to rough it? If one day everything hits the fan and you and your family have to bug out somewhere, where would that be? You need to have a plan. 15. Clean water. Most people can survive for a number of weeks without food, but without water you will die in just a few days. So where would you get water if the water supply suddenly stopped flowing out of your taps? Do you have a plan? Is there an abundant supply of clean water near your home? Would you be able to boil water if you need to? Besides storing water and figuring out how you would get to gather water if society breaks down, another thing to consider is water purification tablets. The water you are able to gather during a time of crisis may not be suitable for drinking, so you may find that water purification tablets come in very, very handy. Water filter bottles, pumps, and gravity water filters are musts. 16. Lighters or matches. You will also want something to start a fire with. If you can start a fire, you can cook food, you can boil water, and you can stay warm. So in a true emergency situation, how do you plan to start a fire? By rubbing sticks together? Now is the time to put away a supply of lighters or matches, so that you will be prepared when you really need them. In addition, you may want to consider storing up a good supply of candles. Candles come in quite handy whenever the electricity goes out, and in the event of a long-term economic nightmare, we will all see why our forefathers relied on candles so much. There are 17 ways of starting a fire without matches. Learn several and carry the material to do them. 17. A flashlight or lantern. When the power goes off in your home, what is the first thing that you grab? Just think about it. A flashlight or a lantern, of course. In a major emergency, a flashlight or a lantern is going to be a necessity, especially if you need to go anywhere at night. Solar-powered or crank-style flashlights or lanterns will probably be best during a long-term emergency. If you have battery-powered units, you will want to begin storing up lots and lots of batteries. 18. Storing up food. A BOB and BOV should have 72 hours of food. Mountain House, granola, PBJ nuts, sunflower seeds, etc. Food is going to instantly become one of the most valuable commodities in existence in the event of an economic collapse. If you do not have food, you are not going to survive. Most American families could not last much longer than a month on what they have in their house right now. So what about you? If disaster struck right now, how long could you survive on what you have? The truth is that we all need to start storing up food. If you and your family run out of food, you will suddenly find yourselves competing with the hordes of hungry people who are looting the stores and roaming the streets looking for something to eat. Of course, you can grow your own food, but that is going to take time. So you need to have enough food stored up until the food that you plan to grow has time. But if you have not stored up any seeds, you might as well forget it. When the economy totally collapses, the remaining seeds will disappear very quickly. So if you think you are going to need seeds, now is the time to get them. 19. Learn to grow your own food. This is a skill that most Americans possessed in the past, but that most Americans today have forgotten. Growing your own food in a way to become more independent of the system, and it is a way to get prepared for what is ahead. 20. A first aid kit and other medical supplies. One more serious note, you may not be able to access a hospital or a doctor during a major crisis. In your survival supplies, be absolutely certain that you have a good first aid kit and any other medical supplies that you think you may need. 21. Stock up on vitamins. A lot of preppers do not think about this either, but this is very important. These days, it is becoming increasingly difficult to get adequate nutrition from foods that we eat. That is why it is very important to have an adequate store of vitamins and other supplements. 22. A radio. If a major crisis does hit the United States, what will you and your family want? Among other things, you will all want to know what in the world is going on. A radio can be an invaluable tool for keeping up with the news. Once again, solar-powered or crank-style radios will probably work best for the long run. A battery-powered unit would work as well, but only for as long as your batteries are able to last. 23. Communication equipment. When things really hit the fan, you are going to want to communicate with your family and friends. You will also want to be able to contact an ambulance or law enforcement if necessary. Having an emergency cell phone is great, but it may or may not work during a time of crisis. The internet also may or may not be available. Be sure to have a plan, whether it be high-tech or low-tech, for staying in communication with others during a major emergency. 24. Personal hygiene items. While these may not be absolute essentials, the truth is that life will get very unpleasant very quickly without them. For example, what would you do without toilet paper? Just think about it. Imagine that you just finished your last roll of toilet paper and now you can't get any more. What would you do? Solution? And a huge dollar saver is to use a lab irrigation bottle. Cost $10. And since most families spend $100 to $300 a year on toilet paper, it will pay for itself in a day or two and save you hundreds of dollars annually. Even if you buy one for every member, you are still hundreds ahead. The truth is that soap, toothbrushes, toothpaste, shampoo, toilet paper, and other hygiene products are things that we completely take for granted in society today. So, what would happen if we could not go out and buy them any longer? 25. Don't forget the special needs of your babies and your pets. Young children and pets have special needs. As you store supplies, don't forget about the things that they will need as well. 26. A sewing kit. If you were not able to run out and buy new clothes for you and your family, what would you do? Well, you would want to repair the clothes that you have and make them last as long as possible. Without a good sewing kit, this will be very difficult to do. 27. Extra gasoline. There may come a day when gasoline is rationed or is simply not available at all. If that happens, how will you get around? Be certain to have some extra gasoline stored away just in case you find yourself really needing to get somewhere someday. 28. A backup plan. This is really your first step and priority. Have backup plans to get your BOL. Lastly, it is always, always, always important to have a backup plan for everything. If someone comes in and steals all the food that you have stored up, what are you going to do? If travel is restricted and you can't get your bug out location immediately, do you have a plan B? If you have built your house into an integral survival fortress, but circumstances force you to leave, do you have an alternative plan? The truth is that crisis situations rarely unfold just as we envision. It is important to be flexible and to be ready with backup plans whenever disaster strikes. You don't want to end up like the folks in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. You don't want to have to rely on the government to take care of you if something really bad happens. 29. A community. This is basically your goal. Travel as a community or end up in a community as your BOL. During a long-term crisis, it is those who are willing to work together that will have the best chance of making it. Whether it is your family, your friends, a church, or a local group of people that you know, make sure that you have some people that you can rely on and work together within the event that everything hits the fan. Loners are going to have a really hard time of surviving for long. 30. Keep your prepping to yourself. Do not go around and tell everyone in your area where you live about your prepping. If you do, then you may find yourself overwhelmed by visitors when everything falls apart. And please do not go on television and brag about your prepping to a national audience. Prepping is something that you want to keep to yourself, unless you want the hordes of desperate people banging on your door in the future. Sadly, most Americans still have blind faith that our leaders actually know what they are doing and will be able to fix things. Most Americans still are convinced that everything is going to be just fine. And of course, the mainstream media does all they can to reinforce faith in the system. Right now, the US Strategic Grain Reserve contains only enough wheat to make half a loaf of bread for each of the approximately 300 million people in the United States. How long do you think that is going to last? Now is the time to get ready. Now is the time to prepare. The United States economy is going to collapse, and incredibly hard times are coming. Will you be able to survive it when it happens? If you are watching this video, that means that you are probably much more awake than the average American is. Please get prepared while you still can. A great storm is coming, and time is quickly running out. For those of you with loved ones in other states, areas of the country, send this on to them. Send this to concerned friends and family who live in unsafe areas of the country, within 50 to 100 miles of cities, coasts, borders. So do you have any points that you would add to the list above? Please feel free to post a comment with your thoughts below.
Wow, this is some good information to have you guys. Make sure you guys know what to do when that time comes, because the time is coming. The Bible is going to fulfill its purpose real soon. So be wise and know your word, study your word, constantly read your word, and read everything that's out there. So that way when the time has come, you guys have to be ready. It's time to be ready. Okay. Got to get together because it's coming. It's going to happen. And the Bible is going to fulfill itself. Let me stop sharing this real quick. Yeah, the Bible's going to fulfill itself, and that is the truth. Let me see what happened to Team Terrell, because she should have been dropping down as well. Let me go to my timers real quick, and I don't know how come hers is not there, and it's right there. It's right here, and hers is not dropped down. Maybe I probably let me delete this out. Maybe I probably got too many. I only can have so many, so I would delete that one out and see what happened now. Where's she at? I'm just trying to get Team Terrell drop, you guys, because Let me edit this real quick. Okay. Let's see what's gonna happen now. I gotta come out in 5 minutes. But anyway, as I was saying, so I like to keep my word when I said people's gonna be up in there. But yes, so make sure you guys, you know, you got to go back to my video and get those lists of things, what you should be prepared for. Make sure you do that, okay? So be ready because, like I said, I'm gonna start stocking myself, you know, with waters and you know, little small things that can take with me. You know what I'm saying? So one thing for sure, I'm not in no big city, so I don't got to get out no big city, so I'm fine where I'm at. But I still want to go get those hiking. Go buy me a couple of those hiking bags and stuff just to have, because you never know where you're gonna have to run. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to have all that stuff, you know, on hand. Like he said, that you would not be able to go out to the stores and go get that stuff when it do happen. So already have it. Yes. So, but yes, it was King Dear. Like I told everybody, go to the Power of God channel because he talks about it a lot, you know, on his channel, you know. So he goes into like, you know, in real deep details of it. You know, I'm not good like he is, but I'm good enough to I could put it out there. Then you have to go probably do some more research yourself, you know. So I'm good when it comes to that. I'm not no good video person, stuff like that, and I don't stop and talk during the video. I let the video play. I'm not experienced in that type, but like I said, I can put it out there. So I thank you guys from watching. Trying to wait to see if Teen Terrell name is gonna drop my night box because I don't know what happened because it should have came. So I guess the timer part of the night box I only could put so much up in there because before I only had a two, now I got three. So I had to delete another thing that I had up in there. So people gonna go see what's going to happen before before I go off. I want to make sure her name um, come up because I want everybody to show her love as well as Pretty Apple and as well as Mama Not Having It. There are some awesome queens that you guys hit their links and um, when they go live or go just watch their videos because I know Mama Not Having It. She got all natural ingredients that she does that she makes on her own. Okay, because what she been through with her sickness that she had, so she can't use the stuff from the stores. She got to make it herself. Okay, her like her lotions, her deodorants, her toothpaste, and all other good stuff that she got to do, you know, make for herself for her health. So now she into making something with some garlic or something. She was doing that. I think it was yesterday. She did that. So you guys can watch her video. She got some nice stuff up on there. She even talk about the molds that be in people's houses, mold that be into job sites and stuff like that. She can point all that. She got a couple of videos about that as well. So she got a nice informational page. So please go check out Mama Not Having It. Yeah, immune booster. That's what she made the other day. Yes. So she got a nice page, and I'm Pretty Apple. I love that girl. She is hilarious, you guys. She keeps she keep you lifted. You gotta if you down for that day, all you gotta do is go to Pretty Apple page. You will be lifted up, okay? Because you don't know if it's gonna be a prankster or not. You never know about Pretty Apple. But her page, she did one. I think it was today. Boy, she was singing, she was dancing with her little cartoon character on it. I was dying laughing. She was so funny. You guys gonna love her page. I'm telling you, her page is funny. Hello, Inga. Loves life. Hello, my first time seeing you. Welcome to the Chosen Queen channel. You just entered the Royal Palace Love Room. God bless you for coming in. I'm sorry, guys. Just want to make sure that I see my girl Team Terrell come up because this Team Terrell, she loves to sing. She got a nice voice, beautiful voice. And I don't know how many instruments she played, but I know I've seen her play the guitar. I guess it's called the guitar that she was playing. And she writes her own songs. I heard her sing a song that she wrote her dad. Heard her sing her song she wrote her mom, and and another friend of hers. So she got a beautiful voice. She got Christmas songs out. So that's Positive Movement sister. She is so sweet, you guys. Once you guys get to know her, she's a sweet young lady. I was pleased to meet her. You know what I'm saying? I met her, through one day I was on the phone talking to Positive, and her sister had just I guess released a song or something was going on that she needed people to like it, a song or something, or a video or something. And I was talking to Positive Mover, and I heard her mom say, "Go tell her to go like Teen Terrell, go to her like Teen Terrell." So that's how I ended up, going with Teen Terrell. I had to go like something that she liked, because wherever she was doing, she had to have so much likes or something on that particular day. So I've been, checking her out ever since then. So she's good. Come on, Nightbox. On you taking so long. Come on. That's one thing about Nightbox is so. The reason I put that in the timer so that way it can just constantly come up. But I got hers coming up right now for every 5 minutes. But I do have them coming like every 15 minutes. They come up like 3 or 4 times during my live. I might do it like every 10 minutes now. I just want to fill the Nightbox up in my chat so much. So that's why I got a timer on for certain ones. So that way it will come, through. And the rest of them, like you would see, seeing Pretty Apple doing, those don't come up on timers. That's something that she had to do for me for it to come through. So she should be coming up soon. Yes. How you doing, Igna? So how you find my page? Igna Loves Life. Just came across me. So let me check my night box again. Cause she right there. She should be coming. Come on, come on, come on. Everything is there. Everything is there. Shouldn't be too much longer, you guys. Then we're gonna end this live after I see her pop up. I want to make sure that she's there so you guys can hit her. Since it's taking so long, I can just that gets me this light box is good, but sometimes it irritates me sometimes. I ain't gonna say that too loud. But I'm gonna go ahead and grab her link. Let me go grab her link, and I'm gonna just go drop her link into my chat, because she's in there. It just I don't know what's going on with Nightbox today. Guess he wanted to show out today on me. Okay, this is the link I'm dropping in till I go see what's wrong with my Nightbox. I'm gonna do that after the live. But this is King Terrell. Let me make sure I spelled it right. Okay, yeah. This is Team Terrell's her channel, you guys. You guys go ahead and hit that link right there, and I'm gonna go check my Nightbox out, and it should be ready next time I go live. She should be in my Nightbox. So please, because she is one of the YouTubers that's going to be in my night box for the 2 weeks. So it's Teen Terrell, it's Pretty Apple, and Mama Not Having It. Okay, if you guys can go show them some love, I really appreciate it. I don't know where it is. I just dropped the link just now, Pretty Apple. So just hit the link I just put down in my chat. I don't know what's going on with my night box. I got to go check it out. So if everybody hit that link, I just dropped it in the chat. That's Teen Terrell's her channel. You guys go show her some love and go listen to some of her video. Make sure you leave a comment up under everybody's video. Yes, that's positive. So she's very pretty and got a nice voice. She can sing her tail off. Okay, there go Mama Not Having it. I'm finna see now. It's gonna come up. We finna see now because Mama Not Having it just now coming up. So I'm finna see real quick. Shouldn't take long. But thanks everybody for tuning in and showing me love. And like I said, I really appreciate all of you guys. That's why I don't mind doing what I'm doing. You know, putting you guys in the night box, because I do appreciate you guys. Don't think I don't appreciate you guys. I really do. Okay, Pretty Apple. I finna see if you're gonna come in the night box now, because I see Mama Not Having it. It's coming up, and your name should be coming up next, and then her name should be coming up after you. So I'm finna see real quick. I'm finna see real quick. You know, I think it's okay. They go Pretty Apple, and then her should be coming up. If hers don't come up, it's something I did wrong. I got to go back and check and see what I did after the live. But just thanks for showing each other love. I really appreciate it. I'll be coming back live again on tomorrow. It's another something I wanted to share with you guys on tomorrow. God is good. Yeah, she got an awesome all y'all have some awesome channels. Every last one of you do. You got your own, unique way. Everybody have their own unique. And that's how God is, you know what I'm saying? God made us, he got a purpose for all of us. He did not make us all the same. He made us all different. He made us all different for a reason. He created us who we are. And I thank God for it. Nope, it didn't come up because the save the date came up. I want to know what happened. This really making me. That should have came up. Okay, well, anyway, let's go hit her link and drop her link down one more time. I'm getting ready to get up out of here. Okay, because it did not come back up again. Gotta go see what I did, Teen Terrell. I apologize. But there's her link, you guys. Make sure you guys show her some love. Go behind her and make sure you leave a comment behind her video and say that you've seen her on the Chosen Queen channel. Okay, so that way she know where her link was at. But everybody have a blessed night. Know that I love you. Remember, love the skin that you are in, because you are made in God's image. Okay, you are beautiful. Remember that. God loves you. And always remember, I am forever a chosen queen. I'm out. Have a blessed Sunday.